Good evening, viewers, and welcome to a new and dynamic series, Young and Upcoming. Our vision for the program today is Youth's Tomorrow's World, and I'm very excited about it because it's a huge initiative which will develop as the series unfolds, and you will hear more from us in terms of further development and transformation. We would be focusing on their talent, their innovation, their energy, their vibes, and what they can do as youth in terms of their future roles, not only in the Trinidad and Tobago society, but by extension the entire world. I'm thinking global. But before going further, I'd like to thank our sponsors who quickly bought into the concept. And I would start with the Trinidad and Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, YTEPP, ACCA, BPTT, the Cascadia Hotel and Conference Center, Eastern Credit Union, and Republic Bank. Those are our sponsors. It doesn't stop there. We are asking our good corporate citizens who I know for a fact work tirelessly, either discreetly or overtly, to continue developing our youths. We salute them, but we're asking you all to come on board with us because it's a very important initiative. And you can do so by dropping us an email, youngandupcoming2k12@gmail.com. You could join us on Facebook, or you may wish to contact us at 365-7648. So that is the contact information. We take a short break. When we return, I would be returning to our guests. Welcome back to Young and Upcoming, and at this time I'd like to introduce our dynamic team, which will really be the lead for the remaining episodes, given their mandate, given the thrust of the organization, and talking about YTEPP, and by extension the YTEPP Future Leaders program. So I go straight to my left. My first star, Rachael Jack. Rachael is 23 years. She is a YTEPP and Y.F.L. alumni. Next to Rachael, we have my friend Lukman Armstrong, 24 years, also YTEPP and Y.F.L. alumni. And to the end, I have Mr. Garvin Samson, who is the program coordinator. The program coordinator for the Y.F.L. project. Folks, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
And let me just start by saying that the show belongs to Rachael and Lukman. Because Young and Upcoming, you all are my stars. This is the first show, and so that is how we would start it off. But before coming to you, Rachael, let me just go to Garvin. Garvin. So I think it's prudent, Garvin, for you to just share a bit with our viewers the Y.F.L. concept, because I know you are passionate about it. Garvin comes from Princeton, so he boasts that he comes from Princeton every day to St. Augustine because he's so passionate about what he does. So share that passion with us now, Garvin. It's your time.
Yeah. Y.F.L. stands for YTEPP Future Leaders. It's a program that was conceptualized by our CEO, Mr. Nigel Forgini. Mr. Forgini came from one of those depressed neighborhoods, and really a tutor, one of his teachers, saw his potential and literally took him in and literally walked him through to the point where he could really have his own space and make him stand on his own 2 feet. And what Mr. Forgini has done through this program is give other youth the same sort of opportunity. People who would not have normally had the certain exposures in life, he is giving them it through the program. The program is just 3 years old, and it's targeted for our training council presidents. Each YTEPP center has what we call a training council, and the training council president is automatically enrolled in Y.F.L. As we said, Y.F.L. stands for YTEPP Future Leaders.
Yes.
And given a snapshot of the program, what we do, our vision is to firstly discover, then nurture, and empower tomorrow's leaders today.
I am anxious to go to my stars. Rachael. Yes. Rachael Jack. Rachael, you are 23 years.
Yes.
And I know you're very proud of who you are. I know you had something to share pre-Y.F.L. So let's start there, and then we could take it forward in terms of the development and the nurturing that you got from Y.F.L. to bring you to this point where you are at now. So let's start.
Okay, well, basically before I entered into YTEPP and Y.F.L., I was working as a dental assistant, which is a pretty good job, but you know, it wasn't really a career that I wanted to get into. Just a job, and I always had the potential to do more, but most places you don't really have the availability to really show your talent. So it's just like, you know, you just go work, come back home, and probably get a couple of subjects, those type of things. And I never really had the opportunity to really go forward the way that I wanted to until Y.F.L. Because going into Y.F.L, I always wanted to do psychology. And going into Y.F.L, I met Auntie Natasha, who is also one of the coordinators with Y.F.L. And she's doing behavioral sciences, and she's teaching us peer counseling and conflict resolutions and all these things. And I was like, I could do this, you know, this is where I want to be. And also to have the sort of family holding together, building each other up, helping each other. It was really important for me to see other youths moving forward, because I wasn't alumni yet, the alumni, and seeing them moving forward. And it was really something that pushed me to get into psychology, which I'm doing now at USC. And it was just an amazing experience for me to be part of Y.F.L as a trainee, and now to be one of the alumni, looking forward to helping people in Cycle 37 to reach their fullest potential and just go further and further. Yeah.
But Rachael, it seems to me, before you enrolled in Y.F.L, you had a clear sense of direction in terms of where you wanted to be career-wise, and perhaps the Y.F.L, what Y.F.L did was to bring you to that, define a space for you that enabled you to propel to the next level.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Y.F.L, I would have done psychology. I knew I would have done it at some point, but probably 20 years from now, 30 years from now. But being a youth and being at school right now, getting my major in psychology, I know that when I'm finished with it, I could still move forward as a young person and make a difference as a youth, which is important because we need role models out there, you know, so, yeah.
I agree, yeah. So, Rachael, let me just jump to Luke. Luke is 24 years, and Luke, again, you had some pre-Y.F.L experiences that you told me you wanted to share, and I said, Luke, when you get there, you have to share it.
Yeah.
So, the opportunity is now, share some of it with us, and then we could take it, as I did with Rachael, into the Y.F.L mode. What happened?
Yeah. Well, basically, you know, coming from a single parent background, you know, went to school, you know, finished secondary school, coming out with no CXC subjects at all, just wondering, you know, I happened to get a job, fortunately, in furniture place, you know, working there for a couple of times. You know, no one needed to do better, but do had a avenue, do had a, you know, that push, as it were, to go forward. And, you know, I just wandered around the place, and then finally I leave that job, and I was home for about 6 months. Fortunately, I got a next job again, and while I was here, same thing over and over. So I had a close friend, and, you know, continue visiting him, and, you know, just talking about stuff, life, where I could go, you know, need to get out of this thing, you know, need to better myself as an individual in perspective to that. And his mom always used to encourage me, you know, try a trade, you know, you don't know passes. And my excuse was always, you know, that book thing for everybody. And she used to say, well, try something, you know. So she told me that have a lot of programs, the government had things in place, you know. She said she went YTEPP. She said, well, try YTEPP, you know, you never know. I said, well, I had the next excuse, you know, I don't know what I like. So she told me, try something. So eventually, you know, looking for organization, you know, fate had it to be so that I ended up in YTEPP. I was basically going to do plumbing. Unfortunately, the registration is full up. So I do building electrical assistant, BE. You know, after coming out of the electrical certified, you know, I was just saying, well, you know, what I could do, you know, and so it happened to be that being, as Mr. Samson mentioned, to go back to Mr. Samson, when he mentioned about being qualified to enter into the Y.F.L, which is YTEPP Future Leaders program, I was nominated as the vice president And mind you, as I mentioned before, fate had to be that I ended up being the president. And I was lucky to end up being part of the program. And from cycle 32, I was part of Y.F.L. And now we're going into the 37th cycle. So that says a lot. Why, you know, what kept me on so long to this program for them couple of times. The thing is that, you know, although being certified is one thing, but putting the certificate in application, and then we talk about someone that's having a certificate, but then going and do the job is one thing. You're skilled in the job. But one of the things YTEPP do is change my behavioral pattern, you know, ethics, go to work on time, you know, because a lot of people go to work, but they don't work, you see. So YTEPP Future Leaders, you know, brought that into perspective, you know, mold me. And I just call YTEPP Future Leaders the incubator, you know, it nurture, you know, things and put you in that place, you know, and then set you off and make you fly like eagles. So Y.F.L. mean a lot to me in terms of bringing out my whole behavioral pattern and, you know, gave me that focusedness in life. And my thing is that, you know, if I could do it, you know, anybody could do it, and, you know, you should take example and, you know, try a skill, you know, and from this skill we have something in place, not just making them be qualified, but giving you the opportunity to harness your, you know. And as we mentioned, YTEPP is a youth training employment partnership program. They actually get jobs for you too also. So being certified without a job is a no-no with this program. So going to YTEPP again, you know, YTEPP Future Leaders, it means a lot to me, and mind you that is the reason why I still, you know, a part of the program as now alumni, as Rachael mentioned.
Look, you know, as you are talking to me, something is moving in me. But we take a short break. When we return, we would see a mini demonstration of the skill building electrical installation, which my both stars learned. So when we return, we'll have that for you. Welcome back to Young and Upcoming on CNC3. As I indicated before we went to break, we would be having now a mini demonstration by both my stars, Rachael and Lukman, and they would be demonstrating how to properly bend a half-inch conduit, and they would also show how to strip the wire to go through that particular conduit. So I turn it over to them and they would walk you through the process, which will be brief but sufficient to understand what they have learned.
Okay, well, basically we have here, we can't really do the demonstration, but you always get a fair idea. We have here what you would call half-inch EMT conduits. You also have PVC conduits, which would be more like a plastic thing, right? And then you have the EMT bender. The half-inch bender has to go with the half-inch conduit, right? And we also have some of our tools we would use, pliers. We have two different types of wire stripper. Now, the thing about it with YTEPP, I got this from one of my friends that we did the course with electrical installation. So we, as youths, we kind of help each other out, which we need, right? And another wire stripper as well. Lukman will explain how it is that we bend 90 degree. Yeah.
Well, basically, to get a 90 degree, first of all, well, you'll be on the ground, right? So pretending that this is the ground, you have the wire, you have the conduit here, and you place the conduit into this, right? When you place the conduit into this, you bend it and get the 90 degrees here, alright? And after you get the 90 degrees now, you will basically it's current you want to put here, you know? So yes. You put in, this is the brown, but we have a new code. The brown is the hot. Alright, the live, what we call the live, and this is neutral. So basically, you know, trying to put this through here, you get the two wires together, and when you get the two wires together, you want to get it through the pipe. So you make sure and have it firm as possible, and you send it through the pipe. Alright. When you send it through the pipe, you need at least 6 inches on each side. So the box, and you will have room in the box. In case, you know, wire burn, you could always replace it with the extra you have in the box itself, you see. So, you know, you leave 6 inches on each side, sorry. And basically, as you say, that's a mini demo, so we don't have the space, all right?
Yeah.
Now, if you notice, we deliberately didn't put in this one, right? This is where, this is the ground, right? This is prevent from, you know, being electrocuted and stuff. The reason why we didn't put it because the conduit in itself is the ground, you see? Because at this type, if we are using, unlike using PVC, you need this for the ground now. So this be a ground for itself. So it's cheaper and less work than having to put extra wire into the pipes. So
that's if we're using everything EMT.
And everything need to be EMT. Concerning the cans and the box of them need to be EMT, and you don't need the
ground wire. So basically, this would be 1.5 millimeter squared wire. We would use this for lights and switches, basic house lights, not domestic house lights. 2.5 wire would be like for your socket outlets and those type of things. You'd use 2.5 wire. Normally we just strip off like about an inch or so of the end of the we have different type of wire strippers, as I said before. This one kind of fancy. See Mark using it. Normally we use more teamwork when we're doing these type of installations. And when we were doing it, we were working in groups of normally 2 or 3 or 4, which really helped pull us together. I was basically in a class with 10 guys, just me alone. Yeah, bending.
So we need to celebration.
Bending EMT and PVC and all those type of things. Now you have to make sure that the wire is properly secured. So this would make sure that no loose ends would come out and that the ground wouldn't touch with the live. So you wouldn't have what you call short circuit or any kind of sparking or anything like that. Normally you would cut off the little excess end here, but I don't want to make any mess in the beautiful studio. So leave it like that, right?
Okay.
And now let's say you have a light that you want to hook up here. So you'll make sure that it's going in a clockwise direction, and there'll be a screw in the back of the light. So you're putting this on here and you use a screwdriver and you make sure that it's tightly secured. Now what you need to do is kind of pull it, make sure it's secured, and you do the same thing for the live, and then you hook up the other end to your switch. You could do 2 lights controlled by 1 switch, 2 switches controlled by 1 light, a lot of different configurations. We also learn the floor plans and those type of things in electrical, even as far as the panel box and meter base installation, which is using big armored cable, 16 squared, all different type of armored cable, so, stripping it down.
Yeah. So basically, the program is the goal of the program, or the course rather, is to get a whole walkthrough in the whole domestic and commercial wiring system. So we do straight from the point of entrance, which is the what it does have on your dashboard. We do from there straight to the house, and they give a sneak preview on from the point of entrance to the T&Tech, the commission.
Or high from the pole, you would have to go on all those type of things.
So now basically we having the certificate, we could now be employed as certified electricians, but not be able to wire houses until we need to do a wireman license.
And I'm sure you're going to go for it.
Yeah, precisely.
Good. You follow up on that. Thanks. We take a short break. When we return, we have another interesting clip, an interesting video clip of Rachael Jack, but I would say no more when we return. Welcome back to our final segment of Young and Upcoming, and as I indicated before we went to break, we will now show maybe a minute of a debate, a youth debate, which Rachael participated in. Why not a youth? When we return, when the clip is over, we will talk to Rachael and she'll share experience in terms of that particular activity.
My name is Rachael Jack and I represent Team Y.F.L, YTEPP Youth Future Leaders. Be it resolved that the youth of today are not ready for the challenges of tomorrow. I agree with Mr. Bruce's definition of the statement, but I have something to say today. My team and I, in fact the entirety of the Y.F.L committee, believe that there are no new challenges of tomorrow that are not here today. We are prepared. Today, we will prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that we, the youth, are ready for these challenges. I will provide evidence of our ever-improving healthcare system. My esteemed teammate, Mr. Kelsey Alonso, will show you how much educational opportunities are available to us today. He will also enlighten you to the fact that we have the availability of so much technology like no other generation before us.
Welcome back to Young and Upcoming. Rachael, we just saw that very dynamic presentation, Wine as a Youth. We saw some energy there in terms of that particular topic. But tell me, was that given to you, or do you have the opportunity to select it in terms of your presentation?
No, all I was given was a topic, and that I had to be for that the youth are ready for the future, ready for the challenges of tomorrow. And I had to prepare based upon that.
Who hosted that event?
Dynamic Youth, yes.
Okay, okay. But is there a follow-up to it? Or?
No, that was, they actually said that there will be other debates centered around youth, but that in itself, that was the end of it. We debated against the UN Youth, TNT branch, of course. And it was about, basically, they was asking us whether or not the youth were ready for the challenges of tomorrow. And we had to say, Kelsey Alonso, Jamil Jackson and I were a team, and they had to say whether we believe that we were ready for the challenges of tomorrow. And we said, being part of Y.F.L, of course, we are ready for the challenges of tomorrow. Yes. And in fact, we're ready for the challenges of today. We show that in the past, they said that the youth of generations past were not ready for their challenges. And I even indicated a lady, more than 100 years ago, who was saying that the youth of her time were not ready for the challenges of tomorrow. Yeah. And I was saying that they passed those challenges, so why put it on us that we can pass our challenges?
Yes, correct.
And it was something that I was very enthusiastic about to actually say, because they always tell us as youth, we're not prepared, we're not ready. Whatever's in the future is so daunting that we can't get past it. But then we ask, so how did the generation before get past it? What's so different about us? I see we have innovation, we have strength, creativity,
energy,
exactly.
Positive vibes.
Yeah, so it's why not? Why not a youth? And that was the entire thing of it. And what we had to do was pull together as a team, because it wasn't just me. Also Kelsey and Jamil had a part to playing it, and they said they also argued on the same point.
Yes.
And it was just phenomenal. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've had so far. And being part of Y.F.L, I'm just really grateful that I was able to have that experience within that entire debate.
Yes.
I had a moment.
It seems to me, Luke and Rachael, that wherever you all go, you all carry Y.F.L. That Y.F.L experience always comes into the pot in terms of what you do, and that is excellent. So we are approaching the end of the program, unfortunately. Let me go to Garvin. Garvin, you were smiling heartily when Luke was sharing his experience, his testimony. So I think let's close with some of the things, some of your thoughts that were going through your head, because we are now at that point.
I can remember after Lukman's cycle, he came to me privately and he said, Mr. Samson, if I have to buy my own food, if I have to pay my own transport, I don't care what I have to do. I'm sticking with this program. And he has been there since. And it's amazing when you see people grow, because it's your whole intent, it's what you're about.
Yes.
And I am comfortable enough to come off the set and let these people run everything, because we know, one, the quality of the individuals who came to us, and we know exactly what we have actually laid out to them. And it's really a proud moment. Our t-shirt says YTEPP proud, and we're really proud of YTEPP for giving us the opportunity to have this sort of program, because it's not what we consider core YTEPP, right? And breaking the stigma of the old-time paradigm of thinking that if you're not good at academics, do a skill. So the skill became like a dumping ground, quote unquote. And so YTEPP is erasing this stigma. A lot of Y.F.L members are doing their degrees, a lot of Y.F.L members are going on to higher, and it's simply because we provide that opportunity. And YTEPP is about providing opportunities.
And I salute you all again. I mean, I can't express it because, as I said, when Luke was sharing his testimony, something was moving through me. I don't know what it is, but Luke, you shared a powerful testimony, and you know, as we close, what advice would you give to the youths out there? You remember when I opened, I said our objective is for every 1 or 2 stars we have on the program, we could inspire at least 10 more out there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, as I mentioned before, there's opportunities out there, as Mr. Samson mentioned also. The powers that be have opportunities out there for youths who are not that academically inclined, you know, that put things in place, but yet still is not the dumping, the garbage heap, so to speak, for those who, you know, they have avenues for those who, because the society is built up at different types of people. Correct. At different levels, right? But the thing that YTEPP have is that if you know this is not your cup of tea, it have things here for you to drink. Correct. And they have YTEPP in place for that. So I take the opportunity, you know, being encouraged, you know, to go and try something, and, you know, look where I am today. So my encouragement to, you know, 10 and even more is that, you know, try something you might know where you like, you know, go to the YTEPP, try something, register, you know, and to put the icing on the cake, you know, the YTEPP have things in place where you actually get a stipend. So you can't complain about passage and things to eat, you know, right. They put things in place for that to hurdle over that barrier. So my encouragement, you know, as I mentioned, as my time closes, that, you know, take the opportunity, as somebody could take the opportunity, go, you know, register, see what course you like, and you never know, we could carry you from the, you could end up being part of the Y.F.L, also being nominated from your center and become the president, and, you know, enhance the other activities that YTEPP offer, like the Y.F.L program.
So. And you are now a senior coordinator.
Yeah.
So that transformation is real.
Yeah.
Rachael.
Well, basically, what I would say is that no matter where you are, a skill is important. For me, even though I am going into psychology, I greatly appreciate the fact that I now have electrical installation as a skill. The other day, my mother's dryer wasn't working, and I went and switched back on the break, and I feel big. And it also enhances teamwork. You know, you go there to YTEPP, and it was so wonderful to see a bunch of guys actually work as a team, and to know that there are people out there who don't know how to work as a team, who don't know how to interact with each other. You can go and find that and actually build on your skills and work out with something. A certificate is also like a CXC certificate.
It's for life, it's for life, you know, right? You don't lose it.
So you have a skill, even if you want to enhance that skill, you can do so. Right? So that's just my advice. Go for it no matter where you are in life, whether you have CXC subjects, whether you don't, whether you have a job or not. Just go for it, because we have opportunities out there, and the more people go, is the more opportunities will open up. You see, if we see that the youth's not trying, then people won't put things in place, and also vice versa. Yes. So we have the challenge now as youth. We see in this program here, we know it's here. Go sign up. Go to the classes, and then we would have adults, the older people just coming in, and we would have a better world.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Garvin, Lukman, and Rachael. It was a powerful program, and I'm sure we have inspired more than 10. I just gave that ratio, but it was indeed a pleasure having you on the first episode of Young and Upcoming. It certainly will not be the last for you, because I know you still have some stories to tell, Garvin. You have some stories to tell. We will have the opportunity later on. And I want to thank my viewers. Thank my sponsors. I'm also asking corporate citizens out there, as I said it earlier, who are working quietly behind the scenes or overtly to assist our youth, we ask you to get on board. I said, drop us an email, youngandupcoming2K12@gmail.com. Join us on Facebook or contact us at 365-7648. We also want to hear from our youth. Very, very important. Use the same contact information. Link with us and we will move mountains. Thank you for viewing. Until next week.